Hi everyone. Good morning. It's Christine Lee. I'm Dr. Christine Lee, a clinical psychologist in New York, Procrastination Coach online, here with the fourth day, last day of the Breakup with Your Procrastination Facebook Live Challenge. I have been really having a great time preparing these videos, and the first video was on simplicity. The second video was on mindset. The third video, I'm now going to forget what the third video was and be incredibly embarrassed, but the third video was really great. You got to see it. And the fourth video today, the third video was on time management, and I don't need to be embarrassed because it's just morning and I didn't prepare this so well. But today I'm going to do something that I did prepare for you. It is day 4, and it is the lesson on why we get stuck in procrastination in the first place. The whys. And you might think this is a simple thing, but I don't think so. And I thought in preparing this series that it was really worth me putting these cards together for you to explain the ins and outs of how bad habits begin, how they continue, and how they keep us stuck, so that you would know, you would have the tools to break free of your own procrastination with this knowledge. So on with the show. I remember the moment and time that I learned what the word procrastination was. It was in 9th grade Latin in high school, and we learned the Latin word cras, C-R-A-S, which happens to mean tomorrow in Latin. And then I learned that there was an English word derived from the word cras called procrastination. And I remember being struck, like it was like I was struck with lightning, that there was an actual word for what I was doing in my life. I was procrastinating actively, even as a 9th grader. And from that point forward, I think my procrastination only grew. So now you know the meaning of the word procrastination, actually, and then I will explain a few more facts about it. So the first fact is that we, as you know, enter into procrastination adaptively. We use it in a positive way when we first do it. It's an adaptive technique to relieve us from stress. We decide there's something too stressful or intense for us to handle, so we're just going to take a break and pretend that time isn't ticking, and we're just going to resume that dreaded task a little bit later. And that's just basic procrastination, really no harm done. Nobody has to know about it. And we, in the short term at least, feel much better. So it works. It's a perfectly fine thing to do. Then, of course, we enter the second stage. And I'm going to term that second stage the problematic stage. That is when, you see all these crazy arrows going around, that is when the procrastination behavior itself starts to generate problems of its own. And perhaps if you're watching this video, you've been in this phase also, where all of a sudden you're having to make excuses for the excuses you came up with, where you have to pay fines because you forgot something, because you were procrastinating, or you start losing friends because your white lies just didn't work for you anymore. And you start feeling badly about yourself because you are engaging in the procrastination habit so frequently that you're letting yourself down. So that's the problematic, I think, middle phase of procrastination, that trajectory that keeps deepening, basically, or keeps escalating. And then I think the third and probably final stage, which is certainly the stage that I had reached in my own life, is the addictive or chronic phase, where procrastination is now living in your home. It's now living in your heart. It's now pretty much the major technique that you use to cope with stress, and that you feel and find that you have few other techniques to deal with the actual stressors in your life. So as you see in my little doodle up here, it becomes a chain of behaviors, and it starts to chain you in your own delay and avoidance and bad feelings. So it's the addictive and chronic phase of procrastination. I am online and I'm blogging to help those of you who happen to be in that third phase. Of course, I'm happy to help people who are just starting to procrastinate and want to learn better techniques. But I'm really concerned about that last group because they were like me and they were suffering. They are suffering, And so if you're watching this and you're not a procrastinator, forward this video to someone who needs this kind of help, who needs to hear that there's a way to break the chain. It's worth breaking the chain, and there are techniques that you can use. So on to the next part of this broadcast, which is how do we change? Of course, everybody's wanting to know, how do we actually make those changes, especially if we're all chained up in our bad habits? First, it's important to understand that we are creatures of habit. We think we're such super highly evolved beings, and of course, in reality, we all are as human beings. We're the most evolved of the animal chain, but we are still animals, and it's important to remember that because we behave in habit patterns. We respond to reinforcement. We respond to both positive and negative reinforcement. So if there's a reward ahead, like relief of stress, we're likely going to go towards that reward. So we just want to remind ourselves that we're not always in control, conscious control of our behavior, but that we are seeking out pleasure, we are seeking out reward, we are seeking out good feelings, and that our actions tend to follow these chains of habit. So be careful of what habits you set up for yourself, of course, because you're going to be following those paths as long as that pathway is set up for you. So the second thing you need to know about changing the technique for changing your procrastination habits is that you get to evaluate the chain that you are currently caught in. And that is not such a difficult thing to do, actually. You can ask a therapist or a coach or a friend or a parent to help you out, or a professor, somebody who's maybe not a procrastinator, who might be able to observe what you're doing and point out, boy, every time you do this, this happens. So that's basically evaluating the chain. And on the bottom of the card, I wrote 5 W's, which stand for, I had to write this down, who, what, where, when, and why. You want to evaluate who makes you procrastinate. If your mother tells you to do something, does that automatically set off a chain of procrastination for you? Do you automatically delay for another 4 hours if your mother asks you to do something for her? The what might be, what do you procrastinate on every single time? Is it writing essays? People tend to really despise or fear the writing habit. And so it might be essays that chronically get you into a procrastination funk. Where, the third W is where. And for me, it's King Cone. King Cone is our neighborhood standalone ice cream shop. If I pass that place, I'm going to go to that place and I'm going to procrastinate on my good eating habits. And sometimes, of course, I enjoy that, but I'd like to enjoy that a little bit less. So that is my where. The fourth is when. So it might be the morning time that you're most vulnerable to doing bad habits. Oftentimes it's the evening time, the late evening time, that people end up losing sleep, watching TV endlessly, seemingly endlessly, and procrastinating from getting good sleep, taking care of themselves, taking care of business. The last W is why. And the why might be, I procrastinate because I'm bored. I'm procrastinating because I'm stressed. I'm procrastinating because I feel worthless. I'm procrastinating because I haven't planned anything else to do. So those are the kinds of whys that you might want to look at. So there's something here for everyone. Evaluate what is your big W and evaluate your chain. The good news about changing the chain is that it only takes one change to break the chain. All you have to do is just clip one of those links on your chain by moving in the opposite direction, changing your direction, avoiding the King Cone ice cream shop, driving the other direction. It's okay, you can still make it home. So you don't have to radically change your life to dump procrastination, but you do have to figure out that one key change that you're going to focus on, that you're going to write down for yourself, that you're going to commit to doing for a few days in a row until it becomes second nature to you. And then lo and behold, that habit is going to be weakened. And I'm going to suggest for you today one area of activity that you might want to choose to start changing your habits, and that is self-care. As most procrastinators know, self-care tends to be the area that people ignore or sacrifice in the name of saving a few minutes. So let's skip the shower because we'll save 15 minutes. Let's skip the gym because we'll save money and we'll save time. And who likes exercise anyway? Let's sleep less because we can save time. We can save endless amounts of time if we just don't sleep. I used to be that person, definitely in college. I went through with many days of no sleep. But I don't do that anymore because it makes me feel crappy. And I know that it's more important for me to take care of myself so that I can function at my best self. So some suggestions for you for self-care changes are drinking a lot of water, eating better, decluttering and reducing your environment of that stress of clutter, setting good boundaries with yourself and with other people, getting more sleep, such a big life change, being more positive in your attitude and mindset and self-talk, getting help for yourself, like calling a therapist, calling a coach, calling for help from anyone that you might need help from, and getting things done, of course, is a great, fabulous way of reducing stress, taking care of yourself, and not feeling like you're stuck in a chain of events. So with that all said, I do want to point out that it's not enough just to break the chain, because we need consistency and perseverance to make sure that procrastination stays away. We don't build on our good habits unless we maintain them over time. And that's why procrastination becomes the easy answer, because we say, well, it's really, all I have to do is sit down and procrastinate and it's done. I've accomplished something. But I want you to have higher faith in yourself and greater belief in your potential, which really is massive and pretty much unlimited. Just go in that direction. That's the direction I want you to travel in. Travel in the direction of your potential, your aims, your dreams, your goals, your talents. Just pick one thing, go for it, go consistently, and be unabashed about it and enjoy yourself, because you're going to have a lot more fun when you're not procrastinating. Remember, this entire series of videos and my entire involvement online is to help you, and I want you to do this for you. Don't be concerned about what other people think about your changes, because this is important. This is your life change, and this is going to pay off for the rest of your life if you do this successfully, and I want to help you do that successfully. So contact me through my website, procrastinationcoach.com, or join my closed Facebook group. All you need to do is go to the page and then sign up, and I will have you join into the group. It's closed so that nobody knows you're in the group, but you are a member of the group. And I think that's it. I'm happy I did this series. I'm happy I've created all this content for myself to reuse now. I'm happy I've gotten more comfortable speaking on video. I now know how to do makeup for myself, and I hope you've benefited too. It's been a pleasure. I wish you a wonderful day and good luck with your procrastination recovery journey. Please get on it. Bye-bye.